Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Thursday, June 29th, 2023. Today I'm going to recap yesterday's MLB games, look ahead to today's games. We have WNBA, we have soccer, we have a leaderboard for the Rocket Mortgage Classic. We'll recap the first round of the NHL draft. We have news and notes and best bet. We'll start with baseball. We'll go over the results from yesterday, and we will look ahead to today's games. Braves over the Twins 3-0. Nats over the Mariners 4-1. Reds over the O's 11-7 and 10. Pirates over the Padres 7-1. Jays over the Giants 6-1. Marlins over the Red Sox 6-2. Brewers over the Mets 5-2. Astros over the Cardinals 10-7. Rangers over the Tigers 10-2. Phillies over the Cubs 8-5. Guardians over the Royals 14-1. So the Guardians went over by themselves. Best bet was a big fat loser. Rockies over the Dodgers 9-8. White Sox over the Angels 11-5. Rays over the Diamondbacks 3-2. And the Yankees over the Athletics 11-0. And Domingo Germán becomes the 24th pitcher in league history to throw a perfect game, and the fourth in Yankees history to do so, other than Don Larson, David Wells, and David Cohn. Now Domingo Germán. Last perfect game since 2012 when Felix Hernandez did it with the Mariners against the Rays back in August of 2012. So, first time we've seen a perfect game in over a decade, and just surreal. And I don't think anybody had it being Domingo Germán in terms of pitchers in baseball, let alone Yankees starters. So congrats to Domingo Germán on an amazing accomplishment. All right, today's game's 12:30 of the Padres at the Pirates. Joe Musgrove and Luis Ortiz. So, Padres minus 194, Pittsburgh plus 162, over under 8.5. Overs minus 118, unders minus 104. Padres minus 1.5 is minus 113. Pirates plus 1.5 is minus 106. Pittsburgh's just been playing terrible lately. They kind of reverted back into one of the worst teams in the league. So that's why they're a big underdog. Joe Musgrove's pitching better for San Diego. Give me full game under. In a battle of two fourth place teams to start with a P. 2 o'clock, Tigers Rangers. Reese Olson and Cody Bradford. Rangers minus 172, Tigers plus 144, over under 9. Overs minus 115, unders minus 105. Tigers plus 1.5 is minus 132. Rangers minus 1.5 is plus 110. I'm going full game over here. Guardians Royals. Shane Bieber and Zach Greinke. Guardians minus 166. Royals plus 140, over under 9. Overs minus 105. Unders minus 115. Guardians minus 1.5 is plus 105. Royals plus 1.5 is minus 126. I'm going full game under. Zach Greinke's pitched well at home. Shane Bieber, I think this is a turn back the clock kind of performance against the Royals offense. 3:30 Yankees A's. Clark Schmidt and TBD for Oakland. No, it's actually James Kaprielian. Yanks minus 198, A's plus 166, over under 8.5, minus 110 each way. Yanks minus 1.5 and A's plus 1.5 is minus 110 each way as well. I'm going to go with, I don't feel good about it, but I am going to go with the full game under, because I think the Yankee offense doesn't put up that many runs again, especially without Judge. And then the A's offense obviously stinks. And Clark Schmidt's pitched better for New York lately. ERA down to 4.32 after several of rough starts. Next up, Rays D-backs. Zach Little and Brandon Efdak. FT. T-backs are slight favorites, minus 110. Rays are minus 106. Over under 10. Over is minus 105. Under is minus 115. Rays minus 1.5 is plus 142. D-backs plus 1.5 is minus 172. Tough one. I'm going to go with the Diamondbacks straight up because they're home. 4 o'clock, you have the White Sox at the Angels. Lance Lynn and Patrick Sandoval. So a lot of day baseball today. Angels minus 134. White Sox plus 114. Over under 9. Over is even money. Under's minus 122. It's actually 9.5. My mistake. White Sox plus 1.5 is minus 176. Angels minus 1.5 is plus 146. Neither of these pitchers have been good this year. Full game over. Marlins Red Sox at 6. Jesus Luzardo and Brian Balo. Pick them minus 108 each way. Over under 9. Minus 110 each way. Marlins minus 1.5 is plus 150. Red Sox plus 1.5 is minus 182. I'm going to go with the Red Sox at home to get back to 500. Don't feel good about it, though. Giants Jays at 7. TBD Chris Bassett. It's actually Keaton win for San Francisco. Jays are minus 158. Giants plus 134 over under 9. Overs minus 120. Unders minus 102. Giants plus 1.5 is minus 162. Jays minus 1.5 is plus 134. I like full game under. Brewers Mets. Adrian Hauser, Max Scherzer. So the Brewers going for the series win. Mets minus 190. Brewers plus 160 over under 8.5. Overs minus or even money. Unders minus 122. Brewers plus 1.5 is minus 128. Mets minus 1.5 is plus 106. I'm going full game. Ooh. I was going to do full game over, but I don't like that. I'm going to go with the Brewers plus 160. Screw the Mets at this point. They just overvalue them every day. 7:15 Astros Cardinals. JP France, Adam Wainwright. Astros minus 120. Cards plus 102 over under 9.5. Minus 110 each way. Astros minus 1.5 is plus 132. Cards plus 1.5 is minus 160. I'm going full game over. Wainwright's washed up at this point. And I can see the Cards offense scoring some runs like they did yesterday. Phil's Cubs at 8. Taijuan Walker, Kyle Hendricks. Phillies minus 116. Cubs minus 102 over under 10. Overs minus 105. Unders minus 115. Phillies minus 1.5 is plus 134. Cubs plus 1.5 is minus 162. Kyle Hendricks has pitched well this year, but the Phillies are just hot right now as a team. The total's way too high as well. So I'm going to go under 10 between the Phils and the Cubs, minus 115. And then last but not least, 8:30 Dodgers, Rockies. Emmett Sheehan and Chase Anderson. Dodgers minus 210, Rockies plus 176 over under 12. Overs minus 112, unders minus 108. Dodgers minus 1.5 is minus 137. Rockies plus 1.5 is plus 114. I'm going full game under there as well. All right, now move on to the WNBA. We will go over the result from yesterday and look ahead to today's games. I believe there was only one game yesterday. There's two. My mistake. Sky over the Sparks, 80-63. And Commissioner's Cup, Mystics over the Dream, 109-86. 3 games tonight, all at 10 o'clock. First on Prime Video, the game of the year so far, Liberty Aces from Vegas. Aces favored by 6.5, totals 174.5. I'm taking the Liberty getting the points. For the first time probably all year, the Liberty of value against or on the point spread. They juice up the Vegas lines and the Liberty lines all the time. I'm taking the Liberty getting the points. I would be willing to take plus 235 for them to win outright too. NBA TV, Fever Mercury. Fever favored by 3.5, totals 161.5. The Mercury have just been a joke to watch. They're awful. Brittany Griner's a distraction, but I like over 161.5. And in the Commissioner's Cup game on CBS Sports Network, Lynx Storm. The Storm are favored by 1.5, totals 163.5. I like the Storm minus the points. They're home. They need the game, so I'm going to lay the 1.5 with the Seattle Storm. All right, now move on to soccer. We have under 21 Euros and CONCACAF Gold Cup to talk about. We'll do Gold Cup first. Jamaica over Trinidad 4-1 and U.S. kills St. Kitts 6-0. 2 games tonight, 7:45. You have Qatar and Honduras. Qatar's plus 175. Honduras is plus 155. The draw is 2-1. I'm gonna go with the draw at 2-1. And then 10 o'clock you have Haiti and Mexico. Mexico's minus 400. Haiti is plus 850. The draw is plus 450. Haiti's been really hot of late, but I know 850 is a lot, but I'm not gonna go there. I'm gonna go over 3.5 goals at plus 150 instead. Now I'm going to do the under 21 results from yesterday for the Euro. England over Germany 2-0. Israel over Czech Republic 1-0. Norway over Italy 1-0. And France over Switzerland 4-1. NWSL from yesterday. Angel City over San Diego 2-1. And OL Reign over Portland 1-0. USL Championship yesterday. Rio Grande over Oakland 2-0. And any other soccer significance today? We have an international friendly today between Spain and Panama at 3 o'clock. Spain's minus 20,000. Panama's plus 6,000. The draw is 37-1. We don't have any other props. We know Spain is gonna kick butt. The over/under is 5.5. I'm gonna go with a safe pick with the under. So that's it for soccer. Now move on to golf. We'll go over the early leaderboard for the Rocket Mortgage. Your leader right now at the score of 6 under, Sam Ryder. In second, 5 unders, Callum Tarrant. Tied for third with 4 under, Matthias Schwab, Colin Morikawa, and Richie Rensky. Tied for 6 with 3 under, Doug Gim, Kevin Tway, Aaron Ray, Alex Loren, Robbie Shelton, Keegan Bradley, Trey Mullinax, Ricky Fowler, Ludwig Aberg, and Peter Kust. Tied for 16th with 2 under, Scott Stevens, Victor Norman, Cam Champ, Chad Ramey, Stefan Yeager, Nate Lashley, Taylor Pendrith, Sam Bennett. Tied for 24th with 1 under. Russell Knox, Brian Stewart, Kyle Reifers, Brian Stewart, Chris Kirk, Bian Ganon, Robert Strapp, Tony Finau, Austin Smotherman, Sangil No, Chad Collins, Sean O'Hare, Christian Ziedenhout, Tyson Alexander, Brandon Wu, Charlie Hoffman, Zacheng Du, Kyle Westmoreland, Yichun Yan, and Aldrich Pottinger. Now I'm going to do notables. Tied for 43rd at even. James Hahn, Tyler Duncan, Webb Simpson, Nicholas Echevarria, Robert Brem, Davis Riley, Luke List, Lucas Glover, Lucas Donald, Chris Stroud, Davis Thompson, Danny Willett, Alex Badley, Joseph Brumlett, Nate Watney, Kelly Kraft. Tied for 62nd with 1 over. Harry Holt, Nate Hardy, Adam Long, Dylan Fratelli, Kyle Staley, Brent Grant, Nicholas Hojar, Taylor Cohn, and Ross Steelman. Tied for 73rd with 2 over. Matt Trainer, Paul Helly, J.J. Spawn, Joel Dahman. 77th with 3 over. Brent Snecker. And 78th with 4 over. Davis Lipsky. All right, now I'm going to recap the first round of the NHL draft last night and give out grades for each pick. So this should be fun. And I'm going to go by TSN's draft big board. And I like doing the big boards. So number 1, the Chicago Blackhawks, to no surprise, Connor Bedard, they get an A+. That obviously was the pick. They had to do it. And so yeah, there's no fans or buts. They had to take him, and they knew it, and we all knew that was going to that was going to be the selection. Number 2, the Anaheim Ducks take Leo Carlson, the center from Arabo HK. I'm giving this pick an A. It should have been Adam Fantilli. I think Fantilli's better. But Carlson's not a bad pick. But I think Fantilli was the better choice, if that makes sense. So instead of punishing big time and giving him a C like I did with the Hornets taking Brendan Miller, I'm giving them an A because I think he's good in his own right. So, and then obviously going third to the Columbus Blue Jackets is Adam Fantilli, the center from Michigan. I give that an A+. The great player just falls straight into his lap. And obviously, they deserve the A+. Number 4, the San Jose Sharks take Will Smith, the center from the U.S. National Team Development Program. They get an A+. Will Smith makes a lot of sense for San Jose. And he can be a top 6 guy for them down the road. Number 5, the Montreal Canadiens go with David Reinbacher, the defenseman from EHC Cloton. They get an A+ here too. I thought Montreal had to go with Reinbacher here. if it wasn't going to be Mike Goff. But Reinbacher's just awesome. The Arizona Coyotes at 6 go Dmitry Simashev, the D-man from Loco Yaroslavl. I'm giving this pick a C-. This was a reach. Heck, if they got him at 12, I would have scratched my head. Like, this is a terrible selection. If you don't get the guy you want, then just trade back a couple spots and maybe trade the 10 and get Tom Willander to get him before Vancouver or something like that. Like, that was a terrible pick by the Coyotes. Because they were taking Reinbacher, but they panicked and took a guy that should have went in the teens. Number 7, the Philadelphia Flyers go with Matevi Maikov, the wing from SKA St. Petersburg. They get an A+. Maikov falls to them at 7. And Keith Jones and company got to be doing backflips for that one. Number 8, the Washington Capitals go with Ryan Leonard, the wing from the U.S. National Team Development Program. They get an A+. Really good player. Caps needed like a stud player to fall in the 8. Mike Goff would have been fun. Reinbacher would have been fun. But can't go wrong with Leonard. They still get an A+ for me. Any of those 3 guys would have been an A+. Number 9, the Detroit Red Wings go with Nate Danielson, the center from the Brandon Wheat Kings, WHL. I'm going to give this pick an A-. I think Dvorsky's the better player. Danielson is really good, but I thought there was a better center on the board, so that's why they get the minus. And I would have even considered Willander at 9-2. Number 10, the St. Louis Blues. Dalibor Dvorsky, the center from AIKIF. They get an A+. This was consensus Capitals at 8. And even the Flyers at 7 they're talked about here. Red Wings, but the Blues got a really good center prospect. To fall in the second best Swedish prospect in the draft, in my opinion. Number 12, the Arizona Coyotes from the Ottawa Senators. Daniil Boot, the wing from Lokomotiv Yaroslavl in the KHL. This was another head-scratching pick. I'm giving this pick a D. This was almost as bad as Simashev, if not worse. There's so many better players on the board. Benson, Matt Wood, Barlow, Oliver Moore, Gabe Perreault. There's so many guys on the board. And you go with Boot? I mean, very disappointing draft, in my opinion, for the Arizona Coyotes. And what I would have done if I was them, I would have taken Mike Goff at 6 and ASP at 12. Like, that would have been fun. Or Willander if he fell there at 12. Number 13, the Buffalo Sabres. Zach Benson, the wing from Winnipeg Ice. Nice pick. I give this an A+. Benson, a lot of people thought was going to go in the top 10. Buffalo gets him at 13. 14, the Pittsburgh Penguins go with Brandon Yeager, the center from Moose Jaw Warriors in the WHL. I'm going to give this one a B. Better players on the board. Oliver Moore, Matt Wood, who would have been the perfect Penguin. ASP would have been a good pick there. But Yeager's not bad. I'm going to give that one a B. Nashville Predators at 15 go with Matt Wood, the wing from UConn. I am going to go give them an A+. Buffalo was a consideration at 13, but they went with Benson, who fell to them. Yeager went at 14, and I thought Wood would have been a good Penguin. So it's a really good pick for Barry Trotz and company to kick off this new era. Number 16, the Calgary Flames go with Samuel Honzek, the wing from the Vancouver Giants at WHL. A+ pick. This was like the Honzek range. Good fit there. 17, the Detroit Red Wings from the New York Islanders via the Vancouver Canucks. Axel Sandin Palika, the defenseman from Skellefteå Ake in the SHL. I give this an A+. ASP was thought out to be in the early teens. He was a fast riser. So, good on Detroit for getting him at 17. 18, the Winnipeg Jets go with Colby Barlow, the wing from Owen Sound Attack in the OHL. I give this an A. Pretty good pick. But it cost him an A+, couple other better forwards on the board. 19, the Chicago Blackhawks from the Tampa Bay Lightning. Oliver Moore, the center from the U.S. National Team Development Program, A+. Oliver Moore falling to 19 was a steal. He should have gone like that 12-13 range. Pittsburgh at 14 would have been good for him, but nope, Chicago gets him at 19 to pair up with Connor Bedard. 20, the Seattle Kraken. Edward Sale, the wing from, or Chalet, the wing from AC Cometa Brno. I give this an A. There were better prospects on the board. I had Sale in my head. I thought he would go in the 20 range. But maybe like 24, 25. But not a bad pick for the Kraken. 21, the Minnesota Wild go with Charlie Stammel, the center from Wisconsin. I'm going to give this a B+. I think there were better centers on the board, including Callum Ritchie and David Edstrom. And then the kid from Michigan is still on the board for somebody to take early in the second round. But I give this a B because I thought there were better prospects on the board, including some wings. The Philadelphia Flyers at 22 from the LA Kings via the Columbus Blue Jackets go with Oliver Bonk, the D-man from the London Knights. I give this pick an A+. I like Bonk, and he'd be a good Flyer. It fills a need. So, very good day for the Philadelphia Flyers yesterday, in my opinion. 23, the New York Rangers go with Gabe Perreault, the wing from the U.S. National Team Development Program. I give this an A+. Gabe Perreault should have gone in the teens. It's amazing he fell this far. The Rangers luck out. I know people are skeptical with their player development of late. But we probably overrated those two prospects from a hype standpoint, referring to Capo Caco and Alexis Lafreniere. But maybe they'll get better in time. They look like busts right now, as we know, but Perreault falling to them at 23, it was a no-brainer. Number 24, the Nashville Predators from the Edmonton Oilers, Tanner Maldonik, defenseman, Saskatoon Blades. I give this pick a B+. I thought there were better D-man for Nashville to take, such as Mikhail Gulyev. And there's some other decent ones on the board. Not that I don't think Maldonik's going to be bad. Or the Preds could have gone offense again and took in like Callum Ritchie or something like that. But I thought Maldonik was going to go at the end of this round or early in the next round. 25, the St. Louis Blues from the Toronto Maple Leafs. Otto Stenberg, the center from Philadelphia HC. I give this pick an A. Solid pick for the Blues. I thought there were a few other better setters on the board, but I'm giving him an A. The San Jose Sharks at 26 from the New Jersey Devils go with Quentin Mutsi, the wing from the Sudbury Wolves in the OHL. I am going to give this pick an A-. I just felt that there's some better prospects on the board, including Mikhail Gulyev, David Edstrom, Callum Ritchie, but not a terrible pick. Colorado Avalanche at 27 go with Callum Ritchie, the center from Oshawa in the OHL. That's an A+. Getting Ritchie at 27. Ritchie, I thought, should have gone a couple picks sooner, but there were other guys falling, so I understand the Rangers going with Perreault and things like that. But really good pick for the Avs. 28, the Toronto Maple Leafs from the Boston Bruins via the Washington Capitals. Easton Cohen, wing from the London Knights. I give this a C. There were better players on the board. They could have gone with Gulyev. They could have gone with Edstrom. The Michigan center was still on the board too. 29, the St. Louis Blues from the Dallas Stars via the New York Rangers. Theo Lindstein, defenseman from Bernas IF. I'm going to give this a B. Gulyev was still on the board. Some other decent defensemen were still on the board. And some good forwards were on the board too. 30, the Carolina Hurricanes. Bradley Nadeau, wing from Penticton in the BCHL. I give this pick an A. Really good pick for Carolina. Just fits them well. Really good offensive player. 31, the Colorado Avalanche from the Florida Panthers via the Montreal Canadiens. Mikhail Gulyev, the defenseman from Avangard Omsk in the KHL. That's an A+. Good job on the Avs. The Avs hit 2 home runs, in my opinion, tonight, or last night. And they should be happy. In 32, the Vegas Golden Knights go with David Edstrom, the center from Florida HC. That's an A+. I thought Edstrom was going to go like 23 to the Rangers, 22 to Philly, 21 to Minnesota, like in that range. But a lot of other guys have fallen or they went in other directions, which led to Edstrom to fall to 32. So Vegas gets an A+ for their first pick after their Stanley Cup championship. There's a lot of guys still on the board, such as Andrew Cristall would be a good pick for somebody in the second round. I thought he was going to go yesterday. Simashev got overdrafted, as we know. Lukas Dragovic, I thought was a second round D-man. He'll go early today. Jaden Perron, I think we'll see go early today. Gavin Brindley is probably my favorite player on the board still. Riley Height, still on the board. Cone Zimmer's a good player that's still on the board. Ethan Gauthier. Caden Price is decent. Grayson Shawshin still on the board. I want to see who takes the goalie. Michael Rabel. Oscar Fisker Moljard. Etienne Morin. I thought was a better prospect than Theo Lindstein. That's somebody that's still on the board. Hunter Brutsevitz, Maxime Strapp, Danny Nelson, who I thought Vegas was going to take at 32 before the draft started. Andrew Gibson, Antoine Wahlberg, Felix Nielsen, Kasper Haltinen, Carson Rekoff, Nick Lardis, Lenny Hamanako, Luca Kengoli, another goalie, Trey Augustine from the National Team Development Program. Edstrom went yesterday. I don't know why so many people were low on him. I like him a lot. I'm looking at Sporting News' rankings. Because Bob McKenzie only had a top 32. I wanted more of a broader look. Scott Ratzlaff, another goalie from the Seattle WHL. So, it's going to be an interesting day in the NHL. And free agency gets underway Saturday. So, should be interesting to see what happens. All right, now we'll move on to the news and notes for today. Domingo Herman, perfect. We talked about it in the baseball segment. 24th in Major League Baseball history. Herman, very up and down season, but for this season, he's going to be remembered for throwing a perfect game in the league's first perfect game in over a decade. And someone made a good point last night. The Yankees needed something in terms of a feel-good moment. A lot of turmoil right now with Aaron Judge and the misdiagnosis of his injury and how bad the offense has been. People are calling Giancarlo Stanton washed up, and we know Donaldson's washed. Gleyber Torres is a DH, and they have a full team of DHs, and yada yada. We know the deal. But what a good moment for Domingo Germán yesterday and the Yankees. And he said, or his translator in the postgame said that his uncle had passed away a couple of days ago, and he dedicated this performance to him. So that's sad, and I'm sure his uncle is very proud of him. Steve Cohen spoke yesterday, and he said it's been frustrating, and he says decisions will have to be made at the trade deadline if we don't get better. So, and then they go out and lose. But the Mets, if it weren't for Domingo Germán throwing the perfect game, they'd be leading like every New York talk show and the shit show they've become. Buck Showalter got ejected last night, second time in 4 games for arguing balls and strikes. There's a viral throwback Ohtani tweet. 2012. Somebody tweeted, "Hey, Sandy," in terms of Sandy Alderson, "we have to sign this guy. Shohei Ohtani is an 18-year-old in Japan who throws 100 miles an hour. Get him before another team does." Wow. That's crazy. There's always that person that makes a tweet from a long time ago and becomes viral down the road. Nolan Arenado exited yesterday with the back injury and is now day-to-day. Hopefully he gets well soon. The New Jersey Devils signed Timo Meier, 8-year deal, over $64 million. So good for Meier. So 8 years, $70 million for Timo Meier. They had to get that done. And then the Penguins and the Golden Knights made a trade as Vegas traded Riley Smith to the Pittsburgh Penguins in exchange for a 2024 third-round pick. I like Riley Smith. Really good player. Now he's the Stanley Cup champion. And Pittsburgh always likes those guys that have some pedigree and have been in big games. So this makes sense for Pittsburgh. I don't hate the trade for either side. Like it more for Pittsburgh. But I don't hate it for Vegas either because they have some decisions to take care of. Coming down right now from Frank Saravli, the Islanders have traded Josh Bailey and a 2026 second-round pick to the Blackhawks for future considerations. Just a salary dump. So it's a salary dump. I don't hate it for the Blackhawks getting that second-round pick in the deal to attach Josh Bailey's cap number. And I don't think Josh Bailey is a bad player. I think he can help them. And it does make sense for Vegas to trade away Riley Smith because they re-signed Ivan Barbashev 5 years, $25 million. So that's a good extension that Vegas had to do. And obviously they traded Smith to clear the cap room. The Leafs extend David Kampf on a 4-year deal. $10 million altogether. So 4 for 10 for David Kampf. So a good bottom 6 forward gets extended by the Leafs. Back to Steve Cohen for a second. He didn't want to broach the topic when asked about possibly moving Justin Verlander or Max Scherzer. Of course that. Spurs reveal Victor Wembanyama's height. 7'3.5" without shoes. Yikes. Is he a tall man? Victor Wembanyama skipping the California Classic as he won't play in Sacramento Summer League, but will join the Spurs in Vegas. Free Dame was a hashtag going around last night. The Bulls are nearing an extension with Nikola Vucevic. 3 years, $60 million. That's not terrible. I thought he was going to get massively overpaid this summer, but 3 for $60 isn't terrible. Bruce Brown might be getting an extension done because Jamal Murray teased in an interview that a deal was done in a recent interview. But then again, shortly after, it was reported that the Lakers are eyeing Bruce Brown as there's significant interest in LA offering the Brown the full mid-level exception of $12.3 million. Taurean Prince found out that the Wolves are declining to guarantee his contract, just like everybody else, from Woj. Bronny posted an Instagram story to doubt his critics as he's putting work in at USC. The Indiana Pacers are interested in Max Strus as they're strongly weighing a 3-year, $48 million deal for the free agent sharpshooter. Eric Gordon becomes a free agent as the Clippers are not guaranteeing his $21 million contract, and he'll become an unrestricted free agent. The Patriots extend Devontae Parker 3 years, $33 million after trading for him last offseason. So Patriots extend an asset. Not a bad term. Simone Biles to compete again as she plans to return to competition in August for a meet since the Tokyo Olympics. So that is great news for Team USA Gymnastics. NFL betting suspensions season long includes Colts corner Isaiah Rodgers. I have a problem with this suspension because only a year ago, Deshaun Watson only got 12 games for what he did. And now you give 1 year to a player for something less harmful. So that is just awful for the NFL. Awful look. Daniel Jones is working out with Saquon Barkley as he and Barkley plan to get together again at mid-contract talks. That's a good sign. That's a good sign for the Giants. If Daniel Jones is working out with him, that means, in my opinion, that's a good sign. We talked about that Blackhawks-Isles trade. The NFL Players Association's elects a new director. Lloyd Howell will succeed DeMaurice Smith, whose terms expire in 2024. So that's interesting. All right, so the ACC-SEC matchups are announced for college basketball featuring Tennessee, North Carolina, Duke, Arkansas. Duke, Arkansas is a great game. So is Tennessee, Carolina. So, looking forward to that in the fall. All right, last but not least, my best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. There was one that jumped out to me. I just think the number's too high. The Phillies are playing really well right now. Kyle Hendricks is pitching very well. And even if this game ends in a 6-3 Phillies victory, then this bet will win. So I'm going under 10 between the Phillies and the Cubs. I'll lay a half unit on it. for my best bet of the day. All right, so that's it for the show. I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything. Look ahead to everything tomorrow and over the weekend. So I hope you guys have a great day, everybody.